don't forget there are gift cards available at RitaYanez.com.
Hi there, Cancer. This is your monthly reading for the month of December 2015. I wish you a happy holiday season. Thank you so much for your notes and letters and cards and messages. And I really appreciate it because when I couldn't talk for a certain period of time, it was one of the most boring things ever, of course, because I love to talk. So the card that we start off with, the atmosphere for December for you, is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it doesn't mean that you're already off to a bad start or anything, because the emphasis really isn't going to be in general difficult for December. That will come on its own with maybe some considerations that need to be weighed very carefully about your job, your career, the way you make your money. And there is an emphasis also on your public reputation, but we can talk about that and I can help you walk through this. So now the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is maybe where you're feeling a little bit like you're at the bottom of a cycle. You don't feel like you're at the top of your game. For whatever reason, you just don't feel as confident. And it could be that you're putting on appearances for others and that really deep inside you feel insecure about who you are or what you are. And I tell people, look, even if you're feeling like you're at the bottom of a cycle, which obviously cycles are cyclical. I know that sounds redundant, but go with it. Some of the best things that we can do for ourselves are things that we do for ourselves personally, things that we do to make ourselves feel better. And no, it isn't about buying another thing or working on another project or creating some new scheme to invest your time in so that you don't have to face what's really bothering you. The things that we can do for ourselves that are the most important are things like getting some additional education. Maybe you want to finish another degree that you kind of left hanging because you started a family. Maybe you want to go in and get some certification and training on something different. Maybe you've always wanted to be an EMT. Maybe you want to be a certified nurse assistant. There's so many things that you can do to make yourself feel better about you that you don't have to really worry about what the extraneous is or what the external is, the peripheral even. Why don't you think about what it is that you could do for yourself that would make you feel better as a person? I know that not everybody's into higher education, and most people are happy with just a couple of degrees or certifications that they can wear like a badge on their armor. But the truth is, if you get degrees and different distinctions for anyone else and not for yourself, it really isn't going to bring you happiness. Maybe you tell me that you've always wanted to be what we used to joke about when I was a kid is a degree in underwater basket weaving. It really was to say at the time that somebody's degree was really not worth getting. But nowadays, that connotation of degree in underwater basket weaving has more to do with just getting a degree that makes you feel good about yourself. Maybe you've always wanted to be a certified chef. Maybe there's something that you couldn't do because you were raising children at the time. Now we don't even have enough excuses because you can actually get degrees from prestigious universities online. You still have to submit your letters. You still have to apply. You want to be accepted, but it doesn't mean that you have excuses anymore, because truly, what better time to get an education in a flexible schedule than when your kids are napping? And now you guys have even more of an advantage than I did, because now there are colleges that offer completely flexible schedules. So you don't have to show up at one lecture, one class, one discussion, one test at a particular time. There's not a lot of them out there, but they are getting out there. So do whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself. Maybe what you really want to do is live independently of somebody else. Maybe you're feeling like, you know what, I finally come to the understanding I don't really want to be married. I want to raise my children. I want to be free. I want to start businesses. I want to be energetic and enthusiastic about life on my own terms. So never forget that. Never remember right now from this point forward that success and happiness are defined by you, not by other people, not by other relationships, not about pleasing other people before yourself. If you have children, they're the priority already. If you don't have children, you can do that all the way up into your 40s. Guys, you can even be starting this idea into your 50s. I don't even like to see people have children until they're in their mid 30s, late 30s. Right there's when I'm like, okay, start thinking about it now, because it takes that long to get advanced degrees. Have you ever figured out how long it takes for even, say, a medical doctor to become a surgeon? We're talking decades of investment in time to hone their practice. And then everybody thinks that they're the badass in the Maserati when we're like, yeah, but you don't know how long it took him to get there. So think about yourself first. Put yourself as a priority, as the person who makes the decisions as to what makes you happy. You have kids, raise those. They're always number one. Nobody competes for that position. So the first week we've got, week 2, I should say the second week, we have the 4 of Cups. You may be feeling a little apathetic. There could be a sense that you know that there are some changes in your career, most likely on the peripheral, on the horizon, or you've just got that nagging feeling that something is changing. Well, if you think about yourself and think about what would make you more successful, either in a real sense, like able to command a higher salary, able to go for the plum jobs, then do that. If you just need to boost your confidence so that you could be ready at any time to go and compete for better jobs, if you lost one, look, any company can fold overnight. Any company can decide that they've eliminated a position. So I'm not saying that we should all walk around feeling like we're on pins and needles or we don't know when the axe is swinging. It just means that we need to be prepared for everything, right? Have a contingency plan. Have 4. Week 3, we get to the Knight of Wands in reverse. And I'm going to tell you something, that when it comes to relationships, if you are single in that you are, i.e., not married, not partnered for a decade, not committed, you don't know each other for, many, many years and have been through the highs and the lows, then you would be in the realm of the dating games or getting to know people. My suggestion is when the Knight of Wands shows up in reverse, it's either you or somebody else who is very flaky in the relationship, or they're just looking to put another notch in the belt or the lipstick case, and you're not up for that. It could be that you're like, look, I used to be that way. I don't want to be that way anymore. I'm looking for seriousness. Well, the Knight of Wands here isn't going to be. Maybe it's the way that somebody might be playing you, and you have to say to yourself, you know what? So this person just seems too happy and flirtatious and willing to do all of this and that, and I don't know. Well, maybe that's your sign. So be very conscious and deliberate in your choices, because what's on offer may not be permanent, if you know what I mean. It could just be shot in the dark, we're done, one night stand, or 2 or 3 nights, nothing here of substance. Now, as it relates to the work, this is going to come up here right about week 4, if not a little sooner, that you feel like you're not being dealt honestly. You're not being given the right information. Somebody is using their poker face to keep you on through the winter. Maybe that's all it's about, until they sell the company, change, switch up what they're doing, move into another state and take the business there. If that's the case, remember all of the above that I've given you with the lead in for the atmosphere card, that it's got to be all about you and being at the top of your game. You, of course, can never feel 100% secure unless it is your company. And even when it is your company, remember that you can have your biggest clients walk out the door and go with a competitor, right or wrong, rich or poor, it doesn't matter. People really are typically motivated more about what the dollar's like, how far will it take them, and what's on offer. Sometimes people just change minds like they change their shoes. So remember, none of us are really safe in the end. None of us are really safe unless you've built a life on, like I've had to do it this way, to stay liquid, to stay fluid, to not be committed to any one situation, to not be overinvested in one business entity or another, or in one project or another. I really only invest in myself, and that's what you've got to remember too. So week 4, we've got the 5 of Pentacles, and this is where you might be feeling that, Jesus Christ, really? I thought I was getting a gift certificate for a turkey and it's a pink slip. What did you just do? Well, don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Don't try to make a thing about it. It just is what it is. This is really the only place where it seems to be difficult for you this month. It seems to be more of an indication that somewhere on the job level, the career level, the work level, the paycheck level, that something is not quite right. I'm not saying this to you to get your panties all up in a bunch or a bee in your bonnet. I'm telling you this so that you can be aware that you need to always make sure that you are not over invested in one business, one job, one project, one thing. You always got to keep the networking up. You always need to keep your skill sets fresh. There's never a time when an additional certification or degree or skill set isn't going to benefit you. So remember what I'm telling you. Week 5, we have the devil, and here's where you could just be sliding into that zone where you're like, well, just woe is me, and it's all sucks, and it might as well just be a Hoover vacuum because this sucks better than anything. This is the worst thing ever, sucking hard. You don't have to fall into that mindset. This is really just all about warning you that you could be your own worst enemy in these cases. It's just the real world. This just is what life is. People come and go, relationships go in and out. They're better, they're worse. Some days we want them, some days we get rid of them. So unless it's a committed partnership and a relationship issue, then there's not a whole lot at stake anyway, because there's not a whole lot tying anybody down. As it relates to your personal relationships, for those of you who are dating, well, the tendency could be to date people just like you dated before, or somebody that you already know is somewhat resistant to you, and you're having to convince them too hard, and you're having to make too hard or steadfast of a sales pitch. And when you come and think about it, you can see that if you have to sell yourself too hard to this individual, then maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship at all. Lots of us have been through this. Lots more people are going to go through this. If it isn't flowing naturally, easily, or organically, or if you're just with somebody because you feel sorry for them, that's probably the wrong relationship. You don't have to be with somebody just because they're a stray dog that nobody wants. Likewise, you don't want to be the stray dog that has to ingratiate itself and maybe poop on the lawn to market territory. Not worth it. As it relates here to those dating relationships, be careful of the proverbial one-night stand. Even though you're not emotionally the type of person that prefers to be this way, you know, there's something there that happens when Cancer natives and alcohol mix. Let me tell you, I have never seen such a melancholy, if not pathetic, semblance of a person if when you take a Cancer native and you ply them with alcohol or drugs, you're going to watch the worst manifestation of old lang syne, I guarantee you. Don't let that be you. All you have to do is not show up at the parties where the alcohol is where everybody gets redneck and stupid. Also, likewise, if it's a company party, don't be drinking. That's really where we make our decisions, who stays, who goes. Well, we're going to sort them all out after the Christmas party. Whose ass ended up on the copy machine naked? I know that that's kind of a stereotype, and you have to be my age to know why that's funny. But considering that these are potentials when people get drunk, I'd rather be at the party where people don't drink. I don't drink anymore. I don't think I've even smelled alcohol any stronger than in my expensive perfumes. I just don't drink. I don't smoke, and yet I still manage to have fun. So remember this. Stay sober. Stay healthy. Stay positive. Enjoy the good times. Don't get sucked into the drama. If somebody's trying to pull you into the cloak closet, you already got a problem. Kick them in the nuts and get them out of the way, and you'll be fine, Cancer. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you soon.